Antuan, what are you driving this week?
This week I'm in the Polestar 1, the first car from the Polestar brand.
And this is like the Volvo's like performance sub-brand, right?
Well, sort of. It's not so much like Mercedes and AMG and more like Toyota and Lexus, where this is a separate brand that uses shared architecture and technology with a completely different goal, completely different customer in mind.
So the only thing I actually know about this vehicle is that it has a 2-liter super turbo, like supercharger and turbocharger under the hood. That's all I know.
So it's got that. So it's got that 2-liter supercharged turbocharged. That is a hybrid engine. So it's got a starter generator on it, so it can do the stop-start situation, regenerate energy when you're braking.
Got it.
But what separates this from your run-of-the-mill like S90 or something like that is the Polestar DNA, and that's going to be on the back axle.
All right, let's go look. Let's look, because you know I love rear-wheel drive.
You've got 2 electric motors back here.
Yeah!
So 2 of them, one for each wheel with a half shaft. And together they're going to create around 350 pound-feet just for the rear axle.
So it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle.
It's all-wheel drive.
Oh,
so the front.
The regular motor is going to power the front.
Yes.
You got electric motors back here for the rear.
Right.
Okay.
Grand total, you're looking at 619 horsepower, 758 pound-feet of torque.
You're lying.
And something that looks like the sexiest Volvo you ever did see.
You're lying. 700 and whatever pound-feet of torque. That's crazy. Can I do stick burnouts?
No.
Why not?
Well, because it's a Volvo.
But you just said it was a Polestar.
Well, the idea is that in its performance mode, it basically operates as an all-wheel drive vehicle with a pretty close to 50-50 torque split from front to rear.
All right, that's good.
When you put it in pure EV mode, that's when you get that power to the rear wheels, but you're only looking at around 200 and something horsepower for the rear axle because e-motors make more torque than they make horsepower.
Yeah, well, and that's fine because torque is what pushes you back to your seat, and that's what's really fun.
And the performance on this thing is
it crazy?
Exceptional.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
So you plug this bad boy up, you do a DC fast charge for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. With a full battery, you're looking at around 70 to 90 miles of electric range, depending on how light on the foot you are.
But that's really good for a plug-in hybrid. I mean, a lot of them were getting like 13, 20.
Well, part of the reason why you have that fantastic range is because it has a battery that is 3 times the size of the regular 90 series plug-in hybrid. So you've got the regular battery that's in the transmission tunnel. You've got 2 batteries stacked here. Grand total of like 34 kilowatt hours. It's a pretty big battery situation, but then you step down to only like 4.5 cubic feet of storage.
Really,
a little bit more if you take the batteries out. I mean, not the batteries, the charger out, but you know, leave it in there.
Yeah, well, I would want
it.
Well, I also I would like to charge my car when I need to. So
yeah, well, I mean,
and then
it uses the standard sort of the standard charging port or the DC fast charging port. So if you're charging at a public station, you'll never drag that out.
Oh, okay.
You just use the one that's at the station.
Is this a little wing that pops out?
You know, it looks like it is, but I didn't spend a lot of time looking in the rearview mirror when I was driving it, and I can't figure out how to make it pop out. So let's just say yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is a wing.
That sounds good.
So this design
is
it's
sexy.
Super sharp.
Yeah.
I've heard people describe it as a Swedish Mustang. I've heard people describe it as an S90 coupe. But what's different about this is this entire body.
Yeah.
Everything you see with paint on it. Carbon fiber.
No.
So carbon fiber for the entire body. Bumper, not the bumpers, for the trunk, the deck lid. You got a glass roof here.
Sure.
The front and rear bumpers are plastic because you're getting a fender bender, you don't want to spend $100,000 fixing it.
Oh my
but
gosh.
the whole thing is carbon fiber, and that's going to save around 500 pounds of curb weight versus if they'd use steel.
So how much does it actually weigh? Do you know?
5,100 pounds.
Oh, well, that's batteries, right?
Yeah, plus the extra motors and all of that. But if this thing weren't carbon fiber, it'd weigh 500 pounds more if they made the whole thing out of steel. So there's
that's
a little
lot of weight savings.
And it also means all that weight is nice and low.
Yeah,
good for driving dynamics.
Yeah, and we got 21-inch wheels, Pirelli P0, so that's pretty sticky.
Akebono brakes. We've got the Allen suspension, which which Polestar, I have to stop saying that, which Polestar curiously calls Swedish gold, which I really love. And it basically has pretty good handling between the torque vectoring, the performance, the braking, all of that. The whole package just feels really good for a 5,000 pound car.
Okay, so you'll have to, I want to drive it then. So
well, I got to let you know how much it costs so that you know how careful you need to be.
Well, I'm so careful. I like to take 0 risks.
Here you go. $155,000, so don't break it. And the reason it's so expensive is because it's got that full carbon fiber body. That's not cheap. Those olive dampers are like 10 grand by themselves. And this is a very exclusive vehicle with basically a prototype level powertrain from Volvo. It's so exclusive, it's so hard for them to make, they can only make 1.5 of them per day. And they're only gonna make 1,500 total, so it's a bit of a collector's item. So we'll hit the road in a separate video. So be sure to check out our video called Everyone's a Critic, where we check out what this car drives like, get a little bit of insight into what the manufacturer says and is that BS or not, and do some of your feedback from messages. Be sure to check us out there.
And I'm gonna drive it.